Hello again. Welcome back to Lost in Translation. My name is Nico, and we are looking at the Torah portion Chai Sarah. We're going to look at the 10 things you will miss when you are only reading it in Hebrew. Okay, so we're going to start right away. We're going to go right to number 1, Ephron. Okay, so it's a bit sad. It starts off sad. Sarah, she dies, and Abraham is now before the children of Chet, looking for a burial place, offering to purchase land, and he ends up in a conversation in front of the whole community with this man named Ephron, who says, "Okay, no, yeah, I don't need any money. Just take the land and bury your dead." And this is where Abraham, he insists again, just like with the king of Sodom, he didn't want to take anything from him. He didn't want to receive anything. He's making a trade. He's purchasing this. And here, because the Hittites, they're Canaanites. They're part of this. They're associated with the curse of Ham, when back with the story of Noah, right? So they're descendant from this. He doesn't want to receive from this curse. He wants to pay and be separate from them. And what happens here, it's very interesting, is that in the entire passage here, the name Ephron is spelled with this vav here, right? We got this ein Pe Resh Vav Nun Sufit. And as soon as Abraham listened to Ephron and weighed out to Ephron the silver that he had named, right? In this moment, here in English, the spelling doesn't change. But here in Hebrew, it does. And, people erroneously believe that there are typos in the Torah, that there is some sort of spelling mistake. The Vav has this linear shape for a reason. It shows that there's some sort of passage of beneficence, of abundance, of upper abundance. And the moment that Ephron goes from the person offering to give land to Abraham to somebody receiving an enormous sum of money for his land, his position of giver is taken away, and he's completely a receiver now. He has no way to pass it on with this missing vav from his name. Something you're bound to miss if you're not reading it in Hebrew. Okay, number 2. We're going to take a look at negotiated currencies, or over le socher, right? And here's where we get this idea that he's receiving an enormous amount of money, right? He says, what's 400 shekels of silver between you and me? Well, here further down, we see that that Abraham has weighed out this money, 400 shekels of silver accepted by the merchant. Okay, basically this is kind of like a wholesale cash, like high-end banknotes. This over le socher. Okay, so we learn in the Mishnah that one of these silver shekels of over le socher is worth 2,500 normal shekels, right? So Abraham doesn't haggle. He loves his wife. He pays, and he takes the land that is now his from the children of Chet. All right, number 3. Okay, this is all settled, and Abraham wants to find a wife for his son Isaac, and he tells his servant not to take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Again, wanting to be separated from this curse of Canaan. They finally got separated from the curse of Lot. No point in connecting to another curse, right? Okay, so that's basically the gist of it, right? He says, place your hand under my thigh to make an oath, right? And here we go. He wants his servant to go to the land where he came from, the land from which, the desire from which he sprung, and go back there to find a wife, a mate, a female part, a counterpart for his son, and bring her to this land where we want to connect closer to Hashem, right? So go to my birthplace and take a wife for my son. And he says, no matter what, don't take my son back there. He needs to be here close to Hashem. And if she won't go with you, if the wife will not come with you from my homeland, then you're free from your oath to me. Okay, now we've got this first pattern of women in the Torah being found at the well. Right, here we have the first time where Abraham's servant, right, he heads out and he finds a fountain. And it is at this fountain, at this well, where the daughters of the people of the city are coming to draw water. This is where he says, okay, Hashem, let's make this, let's show me that this trip has been successful. Let the woman who comes out and gives me drink and also gives drink to my 10 camels that have been walking through the desert. One woman drawing water continuously until the camels are done drinking. That woman is going to be the wife of my master. Seems like a tall order. Seems like somebody's trying to get out of his promise, right? I mean, I've never had to give water to one thirsty camel. I imagine 10 is a big job for anybody. So we see this continue into the future. Jacob finds his wife's by the well. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, he finds his wife by a well. It's something that happens often. Now, water in the Torah, water's got a very special relationship, water and land. There's, at the beginning, there's two waters that are separated. The one water recedes to reveal the land. That water comes back to wipe out all life. And now we have this thing where the land is established and we need to dig in the land to find the water, right? And water is something special. We're going to have to investigate what's special about water in the Torah in the future. Okay, so moving on. Right, 10 camels, 10 shekels of gold. Okay, so the number 10 is a big deal in Judaism, in Kabbalah especially. We have 10 sephirot, these 10 different aspects of the Creator. We've got the many things are in tens. We have a minyan is 10 people. We've seen 10 plagues. We see many things with the number 10. And here we see that there were 10 camels that were brought to Nahor. And after giving water to these 10 camels, these beasts that just keep drinking and drinking and drinking, Rebekah is given 2 bracelets and a nose ring, all totaled weighing 10 golden shekels. Okay. Now she didn't do it for reward. She did it for just because she wanted to do it. She did it in order to bestow. And now she has attained the weight of 10 golden shekels as well. Okay, number 5. Let the last stay with us a year or 10 months. For me, this is a very strange translation. Let the maiden stay with us a year or 10 months. A nara is a young lady. Also can be translated a virgin, but not necessarily. Anyway, this whole point here, let the young girl Tishev hanara itanu, with us, yamim, some days, or ashur achetelech, some days or 10 years, and afterwards she'll go. Anyway, this gets translated in a way to mean a year or 10 months in order to help it make sense. We're gonna, yes, you can have our daughter, and she's gonna come after a couple of days or 10 years. Okay, there's a Hebrew expression. We can say that this could be a Hebrew expression for about a year. But at the same time, this is maybe connecting back to that 10 shekels of gold that she received, for her work on the 10 camels, that, they want to be able to benefit from this wealth that their daughter has been blessed with, because throughout this whole process, Lavan, he gets all excited. He runs out to go get the servant from Abraham, and he's excited because he wants something too. And in the end, he just gets some fruit. So, there's seeming to me this desire of the family of Rivka to get some advantage of the wealth that's been bestowed upon the young girl. Anyway, this is something that's lost. It just seems like a family that wants to keep their daughter a little while, in English, but maybe there's something deeper than that here in the Hebrew. Okay, number 6, inherit the gates of your enemies. So they've asked Rivka if she wants to go with Abraham's servant, and she says, yes, I'll go. And this is when they bless her, right? And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, our sister, may you become thousands of myriads, and may your seed inherit the cities or the gates. It says sha'ar, which is gates of their enemies. Cities is something different. Okay, I mean, we're, again, a gate and a city, we can assume that if you take the gate, you have the whole city. But maybe a gate is something more, or is something different than the gate of a city. Maybe the gate is some sort of further advancement, right? A spiritual advancement. And here we're completely missing this in the English translation, right? That they want her to become, blessing her that she become much more than what she is, thousands of myriads, and that these offspring, that they inherit the gates of their haters or their enemies, right? Well, again, if we're looking at this idea of love and hate, and love is proximity to Hashem, and hate is is being away from or far from Hashem, right? That these desires that hate the proximity to Hashem, they're important. We need to transform them into something else, right? That we need to bring them close to Hashem as well. And we do that through inheriting their gates. So all the egotism that I have, I can't destroy it. I can't wipe it out. I have to adjust it, right? And through that adjustment, I inherit the gate of that nation, of those haters. Again, something lost. It's something that it seems strange or doesn't seem so consequential in the English translation. So at that point, Rivka arose and rode upon the camels. Okay, and right after this, she's been blessed to inherit the gates, that her seed should inherit the gates of their enemies. And Rivka, and her maidens arose, right? In the Torah, when something rises up, it's gaining a level, right? And she rides upon the very camels that she gave water to. So she used to be below them. She used to be giving water to these camels, and she arose above them, the 10, right? And she has the gift of the 10 shekels of gold, and she's left. She left with the servant, right? By rising up above those camels, now she is at the spiritual level that she can leave Nahor and go to the land of Canaan and be the wife of Yitzhak. Enter into a new type of desire, a new eretz, a new ratzon, a new desire to be close to Hashem. Okay, number 9, Bier LeRoy. Here it is written, now Yitzhak was on his way coming from Bier LeRoy, and he dwelt in the land of the south. So, okay, Beer is a well, right? Lachai, this is Lachai, let's see, Beer Lachai, this is to life, Roi, to see, right? So he's coming from the well where you see life, to see life, right? So he's coming from this place, and that's when he goes forth to pray in the fields towards evening. And he lifts up his eyes, and he saw, and behold, the camels were approaching. So this idea that he's coming from the well where he sees, where life is seen, right? This prayer, he wants to see life. Remember, this starts off with the death of his mother, and so the death of his mother Sarah is heavy upon this whole story. And now he's coming out from this well that's a prayer to see life. And when he comes up to pray in the fields, he lifts his eyes and he sees the camels, right? And there's Rebekah. Rebekah lifted her eyes and saw Yitzhak. The both of them lift their eyes and see each other, and this is the beginning of a new life, right? And in fact, at the very end, we see that Yitzhak was comforted from the loss of his mother through the establishment of this new life that both of them lifted up their eyes to see together. So this Bier LeRoy kind of gives us an extra hint of what's going on in this story. It's not just a place name, it gives extra meaning. And we miss it when we don't have it translated, when we don't understand the meaning because we're reading it only in English. Okay, number 10. Abraham takes another wife named Keturah. Okay. And Abraham took another wife. Her name was Keturah. Now, we understand, or the tradition is, the rabbinic tradition is that Keturah is Hagar, that he remarries her. And in Aramaic, Keturah means restrained, right? So in Jewish law, if a man and a woman divorce and the woman does not marry another man, then that couple can remarry. But if the woman remarries another man, the first husband can never remarry her again. This is in the Jewish law for marriage, right? Well, if Hagar restrained herself from marrying another, she's eligible to remarry Abraham. Now, if we remember, that's one level. But if we remember that Hagar is a Mitzrit, and she has this limitation to her, right? The limitation that's associated with Mitzrayim, with Egypt, right? So she's restrained again, Keturah. She's restrained. So there's these two ways of looking at how this word Keturah bring us back to Hagar, so that he's remarried Hagar, and he has more children by this woman, and we see that again he separates this side of his lineage from Yitzhak, right, where he gave all that he possesses to Yitzhak, and then he gives gifts to his other children, and he sends them away to the east. The east is back towards Nahor, back to the land where he came from. So instead of leaving them in the land of Canaan, in where we have this desire to be close to Hashem, he sends them back to the land of his origin, or towards the land of his origin, to the east. The east is also the direction where Cain was sent, right? So this curse is separated in the direction, the same, we keep sending them in the same direction, away from the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, right? And we are told about the end of Abraham's life, and that eventually he's buried with Sarah in the cave that he bought from Ephron at the beginning of the portion. And what's interesting, again, this connection back to Keturah and Hagar, we have this very end. We see what's going on with Ishmael, the first son of Keturah. We've been told about all the children of Keturah and the other son of Hagar, right? This connection between the two lines of his lineage. Okay, so Ishmael lived in open cities, and in the walled cities there were 12 princes, 12 nations. Okay, and Ishmael too died, right? Now we have to remember that Ishmael married an Egyptian woman, and that they lived near Egypt, on the borders of Egypt. So there's this continued connection through Hagar and Ishmael back to Egypt. And later on, we're going to see that it was the Ishmaelites who actually sold Joseph into Egypt. In fact, it probably has to be them, because they lived near Egypt, right? They are close to Egypt, and they're the entryway. Even they're connected back to Abraham, just like Yosef. So there are these conceptual links where the whole system is now being linked all together. And these are nuances that we're likely to miss if we're just reading the surface level in English and we don't have access to the profundity of the story or the profundity of the document that Hebrew gives us. I hope this was interesting and helpful. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking. If you notice anything else interesting in the portion, love to hear about it. We will see you next week with another exciting program.